And we are joined by Matt Senreich.
You pronounced my name right. I'm very proud of you.
Well, that's why we asked before the cameras were on.
We don't want to. You're wrong. Yes, the co-creator of Robot Chicken.
Guys just like to say sunrise. It's easier.
Ooh, it's it's also a whimsical name. You are the co-creator of, Robot Chicken, Super Mansion. You're co-owner of Stupid Buddy Studios and Stupid Money. Like, you are nerd. Like, you're nerd. You're elite nerd.
I started at Marvel. That's where it all began.
Yeah.
So
I have that you were 16.
I was 16 at the time. Yeah, it was 1991, and they hired me as a high school intern. And
You were bitten by a radioactive action figure?
basically, yeah. I was the guy photocopying all the original art in the little corner. But yeah, it was wild, and I got to meet a lot of the people here and started me on my career path. So no complaints.
Nice.
No complaints at all. Yeah. And that Joe Madureira guy was a high school intern at the same time I was. He got his first job before I did, though.
Let's see, seniority.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So how are you feeling about con? You have a bunch of stuff going on, correct?
Correct. No, it's exciting. I mean, this is my 23rd San Diego Comic-Con, which says I'm old. But no, it's great. I love being at this thing, and for me, it's getting to see people I haven't seen in a really long time. And for Robot Chicken, it's our 10th season anniversary, so we're doing a really big promotion this year that'll lead into a lot of other things.
Yeah. So, talking about the 10 years, what is it?
It's actually 15 years, 10 seasons, which is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It takes us 14 months to do a season because stop motion is the slowest process you can imagine.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I think the number one thing that every time I watch Robot Chicken that blows my mind is that it is stop motion, like this really old school classic form of animation. Like, I don't know what. If you can go back, what was the choice like, oh, we're going to do stop motion animation? Like, we're going to do the most difficult way to make a TV show.
I think it all started like, I used to work at Wizard Magazine and Toy Fair Magazine, and we just like to play with our little action figures. And I ended up being friends with Seth Green through the magazines because he was a fan of the magazines that we did.
Who was?
And I don't know. That's a scary thing to think about. But no, Seth was a big toy geek, and he would collect action figures, and we'd run to Toys R Us on Tuesdays to try to get whatever figures were coming out. And one day he just asked if I was interested in maybe writing a little something or putting something together with his action figure, and he was going on Conan O'Brien, and he was like, maybe we can get a Conan O'Brien action figure and let's just shoot something. And that's kind of what spiraled into what became our Robot Chicken.
So do you still collect toys?
I do, yeah, and I'm really having issues here because I always buy way more than I know I need, and like I'm even having that panic attack for Hasbro, which I'll probably be doing after this.
No.
And I don't need them all, but I like them all, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
My question is then, are you an in the box or an out of the box sort of person?
Ooh, it depends what it is. It really depends what it is. I like my Star Wars figures outside. I love the packaging for some of the things here, like that Soundwave figure that they have here. I might end up keeping in the box just because of the packaging. I don't know. There's no right answer for that.
It sounds like it's deeply personal.
It is very deeply personal.
Oh, yeah.
It's what looks pretty. Yeah.
Now, we're talking about action figures. Is there a figure that you're like on the hunt for? You're like, if I can ever find this, if I can ever find one of these, my collection is almost complete or almost perfect.
I've gotten into this big collection of the Star Wars Emperor, and I found myself just any versions of those that I can find, I'll end up buying and putting them behind the desk. I just saw that they have an Emperor chair that I'm like, it's ridiculous in the price, but I still might end up getting it. I have a newfound obsession of that character, and especially knowing that he's coming back in the episode 9. It might
that cackle, Oh.
Yeah, exactly. I might be down for that. So that's probably the one that I'm looking at. Yeah. What do you guys collect?
Oh man,
huge. That's a big scab to break, my friend.
I'm saying action figures is big. Action figures are big for me. Like I remember growing up.
What's the number one?
My number one action figure that I ever had was Cyclops. His X-Force costume with the big white X, like that was one of my favorite.
So like the Toy Biz.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had a bunch of those. Also the Colossus that had the barbell.
I know
that I lost the Colossus, but kept the barbell. And I was like, this is just a great little accessory. So then all of my other action figures would also get jacked using Colossuses.
Nice.
And they had a story where they were all borrowing Colossus's barbell because it would make you stronger. That's what's so great about action figures. You can create those stories and create those like kind of like pocket universes for yourself.
And you were probably 10 when you had that one where I was probably like 30.
No, I was easily 28 when I was like, oh, what if these people got
Oh man, for me it was the I had this Galactus with a big drill, and I was like, pretty sure Galactus doesn't need a drill, but whatever, it's canon in my bedroom.
No, he needs to. He's got to drill through the the planets to be able to destroy them.
And just put a straw and just drink the magma.
Planet marrow.
Planet marrow.
That's right.
Also known as magma.
That's what it was all about.
So you have this awesome Robot Chicken meet and greet on Saturday.
Yes.
And I know that's going to be pretty
No,
great.
I
'Cause
love-
fans are like clamoring to get at you.
I don't know about that. I always love going to those things. The one thing that just popped up is, I don't know if you know Milana Van Traub, who was Squirrel Girl for you guys, and she's going to just sneak into our little signing for us because she wrote on this season of Robot Chicken with us, and yeah, we're just going to have her as a little guest star for us, which I think will be a lot of fun.
So great.
Yeah.
I mean, this show's been around, and it has echoed. I think everybody likes to play with toys, and if you put two action figures on a table and leave someone like locked with them, sooner or later they will pick them up and make them do things. This show has had such a profound impact. Have you seen a lot of like Robot Chicken cosplayers or anything like that? Because I think that's one of the highest forms of flattery.
I always find it interesting what they cosplay from our show because it's never characters that I would think people would want to cosplay as. And I don't know what I'm allowed to say necessarily on this show, but we have a character called, and you can bleep me, called Bitch Pudding, which has taken on a life of its own. And I see a lot of people in cosplay for that. There's a character on RuPaul's Drag Race that's even called that now. It's like, it's just a very bizarre. Yeah, didn't expect it. And so Katie Sackhoff plays that character and really brought a new life to it. Whereas I think other characters that I would expect, like the nerd and the scientist, may not show up as often. Go figure. But there's a great guy that I saw here that actually has a what's called a Robot Chicken actual costume, which blew my mind. It's really great if you see him walking around, or her. I don't know who's inside.
I always think it's very unique speaking to people who have created these things, and when they say something like, yeah, I never expected the fans to latch onto this, it's like, well, you think these things are great ideas, but fans are like, well, that, of all of your ideas, that's the one that I like. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, you never know what's going to pop. I mean, it's the same thing with comic books when you're creating original characters. You never know what's going to be the one that jumps to the top and what resonates with the fans and people can relate to. Like, who's your favorite character at the Marvel Comics? I bet you yours two are completely different from each other.
What was yours?
I mean, I have a lot of favorites, but if I have to do my deep cut favorite, it's Slapstick, duh.
Nice.
Right?
I mean, I always say Psychos, but I mean, Ant-Man for me is like, every time I go back, I go like, hey, that's just a cool costume, just a crazy concept, and I love that stuff, yeah.
I love it. Like, for me, it's Black Knight. Like, it's like a character that probably 8 people resonate with. But again, that cover, it was like Avengers, like 270, where it's just his head. Like that's one of those things that will resonate for me forever. And if you ever find that original art, I will buy it.
Oh,
Just
thank you.
Tell me where it is.